Okay, so security. I am secure, parking brake is off, already checked the ignition, I've got the master on so that the intercom's working, reset the stopwatch, harness and helmet are secure, map board is secure, no loose items except for my gloves, which I will be putting on later. So, hand throttle is off, I'm pointing in a safe direction, I have my foot on the brake, untie the wing, this is a new front strap protector and the Velcro is mighty strong, which makes it really difficult to use. But the old one, the Velcro completely failed. What can you do? Right, so noticing the compass is saying 3.3 and that's 3.4, so that's about right. Good. Okay. Nobody behind us. I can turn the ignition switch on. Flare prop! There we go, engine running. Stay on the radio. Power for the camera. And transponder to ground. Over farm traffic, Golf Papa November, taxiing for checks, over farm traffic. So I come over into this little space here. The wind is kind of down the main runway, but also veering onto the crosswind runway. So good look as I come out here, just to make certain that there's nobody on final onto the crosswind. I don't see anyone, so we'll turn broadly into wind, which is about there, and we'll do our pre-takeoff checks. So I'm just going to set just over 3,000 RPM to warm the engine up. Cool. Controls. Controls, I've got full and free movement. My harness is done up, my helmet is done up, and the rear seat belt is secure. Instruments, the compass is now reading 0.1, that's 0.3, so that's probably about right. Stopwatch is running, power is on to the compass and also to pilot aware. Pilot aware is a great piece of kit, but I'm not using it in this flight other than by having it on. I'm rebroadcasting pilot aware information to other aircraft, so it has benefits to others. Charge light is green, 3,000 RPM, 0 miles per hour indicated airspeed, 0 feet per minute climb, which I would expect. Pressure is 1029 QNH, but I'm going to go for QFE because I'm doing circuits, so 1028. 7 bar oil, 60 degrees on the temperature. Says half a tank. I think I've actually got about 22 litres, which is slightly under half a tank. So as ever, the fuel gauge is lying, but the aircraft is pointing uphill, so the fuel will have flown back into the back of the tank, which will give a false high reading. Moral of the story, don't rely on fuel gauges. Okay. I for instruments, EF for fuel. Fuel tap is on, and takeoff trim. We're going to set 70, but I'm going to be retrimming to slower once we're in the air. That's about 70 there. Okay, so we're just waiting for the engine to warm up. Once we do that, there's 2 runways at over. We've got 3416, which is just over 400 meters long, and then we've got 0321 at 210 meters. Now this aircraft needs 315 meters to clear a 50-foot obstacle at maximum all-up weight, but the pressure is 15 hectopascals, so it's nearly 500 feet below sea level for pressure altitude at the moment. So I've got dense air from pressure. The temperature is just marginally over the ISO standard of 15 degrees. So I'll expect some saving from the pressure density, and I'm also only just under 380 kilograms of weight all up, which is 120 kilos less than the maximum all up weight. So my plan is to do short field technique on 03 and do a circuit and see how that goes. So this video is about short field technique, which we will be exploring as we do it. Okay, nobody on final for 03. Don't see anybody in the circuit, and there's nobody on final for 3-4. Over farm traffic, Golf Papa November, taxiing 03 over farm traffic. Okay, so first part of the short field technique is to position ourselves as far down the runway as we can. You can probably just see that gap in the hedge there. That is the beginning of the runway. Now, if I was really worried, I could get out and push my aircraft back further into that gap to give myself the best possible run I've got. But there's a slight wind down 03, and for all the other reasons of pressure, altitude and weight advantage, we're not going to do that. Over farm traffic, Golf Papa November lining up 03 over farm traffic. Okay, so my abort point is the intersection of the two runways. If I haven't got above 50 miles an hour by then, I will abort, and if necessary I can steer left off up the field in order to have braking space, but you can see the windsock, roughly a headwind. So we get the bar neutral in pitch in order to reduce the drag. I'll have a quick look into the final. Not a quick look, I can't see anything there. Oh, farm traffic, Golf Papa November taking off 03. So foot on the brake, start to increase the power. Full power, release the brake, nobody there. Airspeed is active, 35, 30, 50, and I'm off well before my abort point. Okay, it's just a little lumpy. Climbing nicely at 1500 feet per minute. So I'll reduce power and bring the bar back. Or bar back and bring the power, reduce the power to be more precise. I'm going to let the aircraft climb away. I'm going to trim it slightly slower as I'm doing this. Because I want to approach at 60 onto 03. So let's get the aircraft round onto the downwind leg. Over farm traffic, Golf Papa November, downwind 03 over farm traffic. That's 800 feet. Just relax in pitch and let the aircraft settle. I don't see anybody on final for 3-4. I'm just going to start a very slow power descent. Give myself plenty of space. It's a bit gusty, so I'm going to have to be careful at 60. A gust could lose me quite a bit of airspeed, and at low to the ground that wouldn't be very much fun. So the short field landing technique is to use a powered approach. That gives you more accuracy over your aiming point. So I'll pick an aiming point, and I'll keep the aiming point at the same point on the windscreen. So if it starts moving up, that means I'm low and I'll increase power, and if it starts moving down, that means I'm high and I'll decrease power. Over farm traffic, Golf Papa November, final 03 over farm traffic. Cool, let's just fly down the wind gradient. Nobody on final for 3-4. Right, ready in case of a stall. Bar back and brake. And there we go, short field landing. Let's taxi back. Haven't been doing so many films recently. I've been preparing for my instructor exam. weather hasn't been fabulous and student flights tend not to get filmed. So it's nice to be able to put something together which is a bit of instruction about short field landing. I hope you found that informative. We'll taxi around, park and put the aircraft away.